Two movies, both of them based on very successful and popular game franchises. Both of them had good intentions, and they were both incredibly underwhelming. This is week 5. I really like the Lara Croft character. She's a very fascinating character, and she's always being compared to Indiana Jones. And in some respects, she can do so many other things that Indiana Jones can't do. Mostly because she's got technology and gadgets to her disposal, and of course, she happens to be very agile. I have played quite a few of her games. I find them very entertaining. The earlier ones really got on my nerves with the pathetic camera angles. And there was that one game, I think it was Angel of Darkness or whatever, that was terrible. I do like the later games, I think they're fun, they're flawed, but they're fun. And I am curious to see what they're gonna do with the character in the future. But forget the future, it's time to go back in the past to, when was this shit made? 2001, Angelina Jolie was cast as Lara Croft, an American cast as a British woman. Okay. Hey, they cast British women as Americans all the time, so hey. When this movie came out, I did go see it in the theaters, and I think this is another one of those movies where I was in denial after I saw it. Because I did like it, I thought it was fun, but throughout the years, nah, not so much fun. And then watching it again recently, definitely not that fun. And it's not saying that it's a really terrible movie. There are some good things about it. One being Angelina Jolie. I really liked the way she played Lara Croft. Even though at times she was a bit too monotone, she definitely had the look, she had the attitude, she had the physicality. And you know, that's a damn shame to see her now. Eat something, Angelina. Eat. Nobody wants to see you showing off your chicken legs. Eat. As for the rest of the cast, nah. The guy that plays the main villain, I don't even know who he is, I don't even care, but damn, he was dull. Then you have Daniel Craig, in which I believe this is one of the very first times we actually saw him here in the States. And the funny thing is, while you have Angelina Jolie, an American cast as a Brit, Daniel Craig is a Brit cast as an American, and there was really no reason for it. You also have Jon Voight, who plays Lara Croft's father, and in case you don't know, Jon Voight is Angelina Jolie's natural father. And shortly after this was filmed, they had a major falling out. So I could just imagine poor Jon Voight watching this movie and crying his eyes out. My Angelina! So what's good about this movie? It has some beautiful, exotic locations. It's got some really decent effects. It's got a good style to it. It's filmed well. It's directed by Simon Reist, who did Con Air. It's not a bad movie to look at. Unfortunately, it's a very dull movie to watch. I have to mention this before I forget. I do find it funny how they had to add a little bit of extra padding to Angelina Jolie to better suit the Lara Croft character. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The plot in the film is just so, oh, who gives a shit. You have the evil Illuminati, and then you have Lara Croft, and they're both after the same artifact that can manipulate time. Lara, of course, has to get it before they do because they want to use it for evil. So yes, it's one of those generic, don't let it fall in the wrong hands type of thing. What makes this movie drag is the dialogue and the pacing. And it doesn't help that the action is incredibly underwhelming. Here you have this fascinating character, great looking woman, dual wielding pistols, and her pistols are basically useless. She goes around shooting statues that come to life. She doesn't kill nobody. Even in one scene, when some heavily armed men storm her mansion, she doesn't even kill them. She just knocks them out and moves on. I'm gonna tell you right now, you ever come to my house unannounced? That's what's up. None of the action is fun. It's so dull. And the one thing that's always bothered me is the lousy, abrupt ending. Really, there's not much more to say on this. It's just underwhelming, it's dull. It looks good, it has a decent soundtrack. If anything, that's the best part of the movie. During the credits, you get U2's Elevation track playing. 2.5 out of 5. So next we come to Final Fantasy. And all I can ever tell you about Final Fantasy is that the games look pretty, they look imaginative, but as far as the storylines and the whole universe of it all, in the words of Peanut, it just completely goes over my head. And this movie is no different. Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, which has pretty much nothing to do with the game series. Now this came out, I believe, also in 2001, I'm not sure. Yes it did. And for its time, This really set the bar for CG animated movies. This was an amazing looking movie, and I think that's what most people cared about, was the fact that it looked so realistic, and it was like a big wow to a lot of people. I saw this in a movie theater, and I was impressed. I thought it was really cool, at least in terms of looks, but as far as the story goes, I don't know. So here I go, I buy it, I watch it again, I still don't know. And that was years ago. Now, we're in the present time, I watched it again, I still don't know. But what I do know is, I really don't enjoy this movie that much no more. This is a very misfortunate film because not only did it bomb back when it was released, it has not aged well at all. CG animation has completely advanced, leaving this movie to look like shit. And because it doesn't have a very emotionally involving story, the whole thing just feels soulless. There's really no reason to watch it nowadays. The story is basically about a couple of scientists that are trying to save humanity, save this post-apocalyptic world that is being threatened by this alien race known as the Phantoms. And while they may have a peaceful and logical way of saving the Earth, a power-mad general wants to solve the problem with force. There's a lot of scientific dialogue in this movie. It can get incredibly dull. I just didn't care what was going on. In this movie, Earth looks like a very grim place to live in. I say, you know what, let humanity die. We had a good run. The issue with this movie is it's technically well written, and I guess to a certain degree, to somebody out there, it makes sense. But it deals a lot with Eastern philosophy and spirituality. I can never say that. Spirituality that a lot of us Westerners may not understand, or even give a shit about. Now, is this a bad movie? Not at all. I mean, it's got a really good voice cast. It's got Ning Na, who voiced Mulan, and oh crap, she was in Street Fighter. Ugh. She gives a very wooden voice performance in this movie, so yeah, no. Then you got Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi, Ving Rhames, James Woods, Donald Sutherland. Steve Buscemi's character is supposed to be the comic relief, and every single joke falls just... There's supposed to be this little backstory about how the Ning Na character, her name is Aki in the movie, and the Alec Baldwin character, who's a soldier, they have like this romantic link. That just did nothing for me. I felt nothing for that. Basically, I don't give a damn about any of these characters. Everyone is just so dull. The movie itself is dull. And to be quite honest with you, while watching this the other day, I started dozing off. So I really can't imagine why I liked this movie in the first place. I've never truly understood this movie. I've never truly been fully entertained by it. I guess I was just fooling myself. Oh, Keith David. Keith David is also in this movie. Gotta mention Spawn. Got to. I honestly don't know who they made this movie for, because it certainly was not for the Final Fantasy fans. Definitely not for kids. I don't know, all I can say is nowadays this movie just does not hold up well. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Alright, so there you have it. That was week 5. Week 6. I don't even know what's next. I think it's Resident Evil. Yeah, it's Resident Evil. So that should be interesting. And after that is the sequel to Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. So I'm going to try to get those both in the same video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But in the meanwhile, if you can please comment, like, and share this video. As always, I encourage you to post video responses, or just at least comment and tell me about your experiences with the movies that I mentioned. Please be sure to catch up on the previous weeks. On my channel, I now have a playlist for this entire challenge thingy. And if you're new to my channel and you managed to watch this entire video up to this point, please subscribe, and I promise, well, I hope to never underwhelm you. See you guys next week. What? Cha-cha-cha!